Today, we're going to dive into the fascinating story of Bahira, a mysterious and intriguing figure from Islamic history. His name, Bahira, means the chosen one in Aramaic, but his real name was Sergius. So, who was Bahira, and why does he hold such an important place in history? According to some sources, Bahira was from the Abdul Qais tribe, while other narrations, particularly from the historian Zuhri, claim that Bahira was originally a Jew from Taima who later converted to Christianity. Quite interesting, right? But this is only the beginning. Many biographies of the Prophet and Islamic historical sources recount that the Prophet Muhammad, at the age of around 12, though some say 9, was taken on a trade journey to Syria by his uncle, Abu Talib. The caravan stopped near Bahira's hermitage in the city of Busra. Here's where it gets intriguing. It is said that Bahira's monastery housed an ancient book, and whoever read this book became the most knowledgeable among Christians. Ibn al-Nadim even suggested that the religious texts Bahira possessed might have been translations of older scriptures. But why did Bahira suddenly show interest this time? In the past, Quraysh caravans had passed by, but Bahira had never paid them any attention. However, this time, something caught his eye. As he watched, he saw a young boy, Muhammad, being shaded by a cloud as he travelled. And when Muhammad sat under a tree, its branches bent over to provide him shade. This was no ordinary event, and Bahira knew something was different. He quickly prepared a meal and invited the caravan members to join him. The travellers were surprised by Bahira's sudden interest, but they accepted the invitation, leaving young Muhammad by the caravan. However, Bahira specifically asked for the boy to be brought as well. When Muhammad arrived, Bahira asked him several questions, observing him carefully. Then, in a moment of revelation, Bahira examined Muhammad's back and saw what he believed to be the seal of prophethood. He immediately advised Abu Talib to protect Muhammad, particularly from the Jews, as this child was destined for greatness. Taking Bahira's advice to heart, Abu Talib quickly finished his business in Syria and took Muhammad back to Mecca. But the story doesn't end there. It is said that 3 members of the people of the book saw Muhammad and intended to harm him, but Bahira intervened and stopped them. Some Islamic scholars, including Ibn Hajar, Ibn Mende, and Abu Nuaym al-Isfahani, considered Bahira to be a companion of the Prophet. However, Ibn Hajar disagreed, arguing that there is no evidence Bahira ever saw Muhammad after his prophethood. He also noted that there are narrations claiming that Prophet Muhammad met Bahira again on a second trade journey to Syria when he was 25, this time travelling with Khadija's trade caravan. Halabi clarifies that the monk Muhammad met on this second journey was not Bahira, but his successor, Nestor, and that many sources have confused the two events. Both Bahira and Nestor, Halabi adds, should be considered part of the people of the interval, Ahal al-Fatra, meaning those who lived between prophetic eras and were not held accountable for not following the true faith. While Islamic sources tell the story in this way, Christians have interpreted it very differently. In the 11th and 12th centuries, a controversial document called the Bahira Apocalypse emerged. This document, written in both Arabic and Syriac, claimed that Bahira was not a wise monk recognizing Muhammad's prophethood, but rather the one who supposedly taught Muhammad everything he later preached. This was a deliberate attempt by Christian circles to undermine the foundations of Islam. Scholar Gottheil pointed out that these texts were fabricated by Christians to portray Muhammad as a false prophet and to suggest that his teachings were merely Bahira's ideas. Throughout the Middle Ages, this story was exploited by Christians, fueling anti-Muslim sentiments. Some Orientalists have claimed that the narrations of the people of the book, knowing of Muhammad's prophethood from their scriptures, were fabrications by Muslim converts from Christianity. Caetani, for instance, summarized Western research on this topic, mentioning Hirschfeld's conclusion that the Bahira story was an adaptation of an Old Testament passage, I Samuel 16:2-13, insisting that the account was a fabrication. Caetani even argued that Muhammad's inspirations should be traced to Jewish communities in Arabia, not Christianity. Many Muslim scholars, outraged by these unjust claims, rejected the Bahira story as unauthentic, pointing out that the chain of transmission is weak and that none of the narrators witnessed the event. However, some, like Mustafa Asim Köksal, defended the story's authenticity, referencing 3 poems attributed to Abu Talib found in Ibn Ishaq's Kitab al-Mubtada. Nevertheless, Ibn Hisham expressed doubts about these poems, raising questions about their reliability. Ultimately, the Bahira story, whether true or not, has little bearing on the character of the Prophet or the foundations of Islam. Whether the event actually occurred or was merely a legend does not change the essence of the faith or the message of Prophet Muhammad. And that, dear listeners, is the remarkable story of Bahira and his encounter with the young Muhammad. Whether you view it as a historical event or a fascinating legend, it's clear that this story has sparked conversations across centuries, inspiring both debate and reflection. What's important, though, is how such moments, real or legendary, continue to shape our understanding of the past. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on more intriguing stories from history. And as always, feel free to leave your thoughts or questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about Bahira and his place in this captivating chapter of Islamic history. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.